Can you just tell us about like what happened yesterday? I guess just kind of go through your day, or like when you heard about the decision and stuff.
Yeah, we had had CNN up and a couple of other places, looking for the announcement to come out. And so it was about, I think, a little after 10 o'clock California time, so close to noon here, before we even found out what the decision was. And from that stage, being able to contact on Facebook and LiveJournal and all of our contacts that we have collected through our email blasts, to be able to just get virally that information out that, we are going to gather for this. And I was pretty impressed with the number of people that were able to, between noon and about 4 p.m. when all the information went out, who were able to show up there at Jackson Square in front of the cathedral. There was a number of good organizations that sent representatives. Besides the people from the forum, we had HRC, we had No-Show, which is the New Orleans Secular Humanists Association, Big Easy MCC, one of our major churches, plus a number of other organizations, that sent people out there. So it was really good to be able to see the variety of people. And it was also really nice when we started marching around and, had the group going that, the tourists that were on the street or, yeah, and the vendors were very positive. I mean, granted, we are in New Orleans, and so it's not very likely we're going to have that many anti-protesters against us. We did have the one heckler who was responded to by an ordained minister, and he ended up storming off when Clinton was telling him about the fact of, slavery is also in the Bible. That, do you really think that these kind of civil rights, and this is what we should be basing our civil rights on? We had a number of good speakers. We had a great voices on people that were being raised, and that we are not going to take the hate anymore, and we are not going to back down from these positions. So it was a really good turnout, nice evening afterwards. Everything cooled down a little bit when the sun went down. So it was a very good place to have a protest.
Why do you think people from New Orleans came out to protest a decision that affects people in California?
Because it's a trickle down that, for so many years, California was on the front lines as far as, any of the more liberal decisions that were more progressive things that were coming out. And, it's kind of shocking that California is not necessarily on the forefront of the gay marriage issue. And we want to raise our voices that even though gay marriage is not a possibility for us here in Louisiana right now, we want to still say that, we're not. We're here, we're queer, and we're not going to shut up on this or any other issue. You can't shut us up. And I think it's good. One of the things that Kenny brought up was the fact of, that we can capitalize on if the president is going to be doing a federal INDA, or the president or the Senate and the House are taking up federally the Matthew Shepard Act or hate crimes, that will trickle down to us, that we can capitalize on that publicity and then move forward to educate. The same way goes that every newspaper in this country was reporting on California and the marriage. And we needed to be there and to have our voices raised so that the Times-Picayune and other papers can say, okay, here in Louisiana, we actually had some people that disagreed with this decision.
And what do you think it's like for LGBT people in Louisiana, like in most of the state, not just in New Orleans?
It's an entirely different world from what it is here in New Orleans. Too often we're very provincial with our attitudes here in New Orleans, that we think, everyone can have a rainbow flag and everyone can put a sticker on their car and we can just, sing Kumbaya and everyone's going to be with us. You leave the parish and you've gone back in time. There are a number of very reactionary people within this state, and I hate to say that, it's going to be a while for us to be able to change everyone's mind. It's going to take us a lot of work. We're working in some of the cities that are more progressive, in Jefferson Parish, which is the next parish over that contains Metairie. We're working in the Lafayette, Lake Charles area. There's a number of colleges out there, and so it's, a fairly good area for us to be able to build on. Up in Shreveport, there are a number of universities, and we're working there in that larger size city. We're working in Baton Rouge on One Baton Rouge, which is the INDA for Baton Rouge. So those cities are, beacons of hope that if we can get something accomplished there, then we can move to the very small cities of Bogalusa and, that that are very small and are still not as progressive as they need to be, not as liberated as they need to be.